Hey everybody, welcome back to another 10-minute Marvel video. I'm Petter, and have you been feeling let down by Marvel in 2024? Do you feel like there just hasn't been enough to watch? Thus far, we've only gotten Echo, X-Men 97, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Agatha all along, which is wrapping up today. Did Marvel leave that empty spot in your heart that just nothing else can fill? Well, I have good news for you because Marvel dropped a teaser for what's coming up on Disney Plus, and oh boy, is 2025 going to be busy. And actually, the end of 2024 is going to be a bit busy too. So let's talk about what Marvel has coming up. And I'm going to run through the list in order, and at the end give kind of the three that I'm the most excited to see. Whether that be on Disney Plus or on the big screen for 2025, as well as a little commentary, I think, about some of how everything is laid out. Let's start out with the extra thing we're getting this year. Like last year, we are getting What If right over the holidays. So starting on December 22nd, we're getting the third and final season of What If. Then we don't have to wait that long because on January 29th, I believe is the date, we're getting the start of the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man animated show. So back-to-back animated shows, basically a month apart. I'm assuming that all of What If is going to be dropped like it was this past holiday season, where it was one episode a day. Then in February, we have Captain America Brave New World. Following that up, on March 4th, we're going to have Daredevil Born Again. Then things actually slow down a little bit in the summer, though not that much really, because Daredevil Born Again is going to run March through the end of April, maybe the very beginning of May. And then in May, we're getting Thunderbolts. From Thunderbolts, we go straight to July with Fantastic Four First Steps, though I could see this moving to November, but I think that they kind of want to lock this in at that time. August, we get the 4-part animated anthology series of Eyes of Wakanda. Then nothing until October, when we're going to get the, I'm not going to call it an anthology series, but a animated mini series of Marvel Zombies. So perfect Halloween watching. And finally, in December, I missed one in there. In September, I believe it is, we are getting Ironheart. And then in December, we are going to be getting Wonder Man. So we're getting 3 live action shows, 3 animated shows, and 3 movies from Marvel next year. Plus, we're still getting What If this year. I do think it is interesting a little bit how they are releasing some stuff, because I don't know how they're going to be releasing Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Obviously, animated shows, I think they're not that worried about it pushing up against a movie, especially since it's not an established one. But it is interesting to note that Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man drops not that much before Captain America Brave New World, and Daredevil is not that far after it. Now, Daredevil is going to run up very close to when Thunderbolts comes out, but there's nothing after Thunderbolts and before Fantastic Four First Steps. And in fact, they give a little bit of time after Fantastic Four First Steps before they drop their next animated anthology series, Eyes of Wakanda. That, to me, could say just a little bit about how comfortable they are with these films. They maybe know that the Captain America film is not going to be quite as good as some of the other films coming out. And I do think they really want to highlight and focus and give time for anticipation to build for Fantastic Four First Steps and let people go see that in theaters potentially multiple times before the next sort of Marvel thing drops. So that was kind of one thing I noticed about this. It was also interesting that kind of some of the change. Brad Winderbaum earlier this year, I believe, had said that the plan was for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Eyes of Wakanda to come out this year. For some reason, they pushed those back. And honestly, I'm not sure where they would have fit them in. They couldn't have really dropped them early in the year. And the second half of the year, we've obviously had Deadpool and Wolverine, which they wanted to give a bunch of time around that for people to go see that in theaters. And then Agatha All Along, which has been just phenomenal. So there wasn't that much room. I think, and I've said before, I suspected they were going to drop all of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man like right around Thanksgiving, and then Eyes of Wakanda at Christmas. But they obviously went with What If Season 3 at Christmas instead, because I kind of like that for them. I wonder if they're going to do that with Wonder Man next year, or if they're going to give it a bit of a more of a run. I also want to talk a little bit about the footage that we got, and I believe we're going to be getting trailers for all of these very soon. In the next couple of days, or maybe the start of next week. So I'll have more coverage on them when that happens. But the footage that they showed was fun. Let's go. Trying to remember if I've seen footage on all of them, but the Daredevil Born Again footage, we got to see interactions between Fisk and Daredevil, or Matt Murdock, and kind of conversations, as well as a little bit of action and setting the tone for that show, which I thought looked great. We got to see it with Ironheart. First footage, finally. I mean, they've had that for forever at this point. But we got to see Riri kind of building and working on a new suit. And we got to hear the Hood, Anthony Ramos's character, the Hood, him talking about how you can't always just do the right thing. Sometimes you have to do something that's iffy to get ahead, to get what you need. With Wonder Man, we got some footage for that of the character that going out and auditioning for the role of Wonder Man, being like, yeah, I was basically born to play him. And we got to see Trevor Slattery as well. I thought that one in particular looked like a lot of fun, just kind of how they were showing that one off. So I'm excited to see what that one's going to be like. I want to see a trailer for that one, or just give me a tease, and I'll be super excited to see what that looks like. We'll get to my anticipated here in a second. Then we did see some footage, and I've seen some stills for a couple of them, like What If Season 3, Eyes of Wakanda. Eyes of Wakanda stills looked cool. Actually, the animation style for Eyes of Wakanda reminded me a little bit more of the What If animation style. So interesting that they're repeating a little bit more. Marvel Zombies also kind of falls in that camp, so I wonder if that's going to be their more standard. This may tie closer to the MCU sort of animation style. And then we got to see a little snippet of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which it looked smooth. I like the art style and just kind of the different look that it had for it. So very much dug that as well. And I said I was going to do a top 3. I think I'm actually going to do a top 5 that I'm anticipating here, because it'd be easy to just say the 3 movies. The 3 movies are going to probably be the most important for the MCU going forward. But I can't just limit it to that. And I'm not actually sure that that would be my top 3. But for sure, my number 1 is going to be Fantastic Four First Steps. That one, I'm just very excited to see what the MCU with this cast can do for the Fantastic Four. Can a Fantastic Four film really work? I think it can, and I think they're doing enough, especially with the rumors of Franklin and Valeria, to separate it from feeling like anything else previously. My second one is going to be Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts, I'm just excited to see what kind of that B-list team of heroes, anti-heroes, questionable characters can do, and the idea of Sentry in there and Val, and just it looks like it's going to be a fun movie, which I really enjoy. I hope that we get some good character work in there as well. My number 3 is actually going to be Wonder Man. Just the little bit that I saw, I was like, that looks like fun. And I'm here for fun. I'm here for introducing a new character. And yeah, I'm going to be anticipating that one, I think, the whole year. My number 4 is going to be Daredevil Born Again. I think that would be high for a lot of people. A lot of people love the Netflix Daredevil show. I haven't watched it yet just because for the longest time it wasn't official MCU canon. Now that it is, I got to go back and check it out. I'm going to be spending some time in the next few months. I mean, I have a nice deadline now of March 4th. I'm going to be spending that time to go through and catch up on all the Netflix shows. Hopefully, I find enough time to do that. And then my number 5, I'm actually gonna go with... Ooh, this is tough. I'm gonna say Eyes of Wakanda, simply because that is one that I don't have as good a feeling of where it's going to go and what it's going to do. Ironheart is real close to taking that spot, but Eyes of Wakanda, I'm just very curious to see what that one is going to be like, and it's supposed to tie more closely than any of the other animated shows thus far to the MCU. Out of all these projects, which one are you anticipating the most? Let me know that down in the comments section below. And if you enjoy this content, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and click that notification bell to know when new videos go up. Tomorrow, fully expect a ton of Agatha All Along reaction and thoughts around the final 2 episodes. So come back and check out that. And check out the other videos that we have here around Marvel trading cards, comics, news, and rumors as they come up as well. And if you're excited for this and want to hear more of a conversation that my co-host Greg and I will be having, we have our podcast, 10 Minute Marvel. You can find that here on YouTube. Click on the channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and then click on the podcast tab, or you can get it wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcast from. But we're going to be covering Agatha All Along finale, our thoughts overall on the show coming out this next episode. If you want to get caught up with some thoughts and questions on the previous episode number 7, before we come to the finale tonight, check out the podcast as well for that. But with that, we'll see you next time.